I want you to click that like button if you believe in Zamir White, third-year running back out of Georgia. He's going to be taking over for Josh Jacobs. Big shoes to fill. If you think that he could do it, smash that like button. Raider Nation, what's going on? It's Mitchell Renz here, host of the Raiders Report. And coming up on today's show, I'm going to be projecting the final stats of Zamir White this upcoming season from a rushing and receiving standpoint. The reason why that I'm doing this is I'm reacting to an article from Sports Illustrated saying that Zamir White has an opportunity to be the Raiders' BellCow running back. And I don't know about you, if I hear BellCow back, I'm thinking that he's going to get the majority of the work as that number one running back because Josh Jacobs was a BellCow. I don't think Zamir is going to be a BellCow like Jacobs, but can he be somebody that Luke Getsy, Carnell Williams, Antonio Pierce really truly rely on? That's going to be something that we look at. I'm also going to tell you which running backs end up making this 53-man roster, and I'm also going to do my best to project the stats for those following players. If you haven't already, make sure you click that subscribe button. I'm trying to get to 170,000 subs. Chugs and I, we have the commitment to excellence. We put a lot of time and effort in, and we want to continue to grow this family. On top of that, I started doing these type of shows a long time ago, fantasy football, and this is where I actually feel like it's one of my strengths. I'm really good at projecting stats, and I know last season I made a video around Josh Jacobs and his numbers, and people hated it. Why? Because I said Jacobs is going to have the worst year of his entire career because history says that when a running back gets the amount of work that Jacobs gets, guess what? His numbers are going to come down the following season. So I projected Jacobs to have 752 rushing yards and then 5 touchdowns. Jacobs last season had 805 rushing yards, 6 touchdowns. Am I exactly right? No, but I did miss off on a few yards. I also know this, that if I would have told people last season that Jacobs would have had less than 1,000 rushing yards, y'all would have thought I was crazy. A lot of people would have said, Mitch, he would have got hurt. I knew that Jacobs was going to have a bad year, and he was going to have the worst year of his career. My point is, I'm actually very good at projecting stats, so depending on what you see here from Zamir White, hopefully you enjoy it. No matter what, though, hopefully you hit that subscribe button because this is right up my wheelhouse. So, again, this is what Sports Illustrated had to say about Zamir White. Zamir White, who is entering his 3rd season with the Silver and Black, will be the starting running back for the first time in his career. Josh Jacobs' injury opened that door for him last season, and his departure to Green Bay allows him to fully take the reins. White will luckily get the bulk of the carries as he earned 84 of them in the Raiders' last 4 games of 2023. He proved he could be a BellCow back and will now have the opportunity to do it over an entire season. There were times last season, and right when the Raiders drafted White, I sat up here and I was like, he's not good enough to be a BellCow back. He's not good enough to be a starting running back in the NFL. And Zamir White not only showed me wrong, decided to bulk up a little bit this offseason. And I don't know if it's just him riding these horses or him working on a ranch, but this guy does look like somebody that can carry a heavy load. Giggity. 104 carries last season, 451 yards, but it was the final 4 games of why people, and I got a lot of my buddies who are still doing fantasy football. Again, I used to write for Fantasy Pros, the Fantasy Footballers, a lot of these guys, and they're asking me, Mitch, what do you think Zamir White's going to do? And the hype, the expectation, the word of him getting that BellCow running back tag is based on what he was able to do the final 4 games. Now, the Raiders went 3-1 in these football games. The only game that they lost was Week 17 to the Indianapolis Colts, but the recipe for success was you take a little bit of pressure off Aiden, you rely on your defense, and then you pound the rock with Zamir. I anticipate that the Raiders are going to do something very similar with that. So with all of this being said, you got a brand new OC, no more Josh Jacobs, Zamir White, going to have some running back competition in there, new running back coach in Cadillac Williams. What is your legit, honest confidence level in Zeus? Scale it from 1 to 10. 1 being you are not confident in him at all. Like, worst starting running back in the NFL. Or, if it's a 10, he's the best running back in the NFL. Me personally, when I look at this, and I'm going to answer it, I am also going to make this the pinned comment on today's show. So scroll on down and give me your answer, and then I'll give mine. The confidence level that I have in Zamir White is a 5. I am right on the prime meridian, the equator, if you will. Like, I can go back and forth. I am still hoping that Zamir shows you what he showed at the end of last season. There's also that part of me, it's like it's easier to do it in a 4-game stretch at the end of the season where there's a bunch of people that are banged up and Zeus has got fresh legs. I'm not sold on him being a bell cow, but I'm also not sold on the Raiders running back room. So because I'm not sold on the Raiders RB room, hell, I called it the weakest position group that the Silver and Black had on an episode that I did earlier in the week, maybe last week at this point. So because of that, I know Zeus is going to get work. I know Zamir is going to get those opportunities to get out there and get on the field and get his touches. And will Alexander Mattison, Ameer Abdullah, whoever else steal some of that? Yeah, a little bit. And I'll tell you what the projections are on all of these players coming up here in just a moment. But like when I do my stat projections, I look at a lot of other things, specifically past offenses, coach, trends, and that's the easiest way to make projections like that. So coming up here next, I am going to tell you what I believe Zamir White's stats are going to be this upcoming season, and is it fair to tag him as a bell cow running back? I'll tell you what, I felt like a freaking bell cow this weekend rocking in these shorts, and I love Chubbies, and what's crazy, another very full 360 moment here from Raiders Report, Chat Sports, Mitchell Renz standpoint. I was rocking Chubbies back when I first moved down here to Dallas, Texas in 2017, way before they were ever a sponsor on our shows. And now the fact that they're here, it's a big testament of, guess what, we're doing the right things. And Chubbies, they are made for the summer. Sky's out, thighs out, summer is right around the corner, and our friends at Chubbies are bringing the good vibrations. Chubbies is a lifestyle apparel brand that makes every moment feel like a vacation. They say fashion is an expression of one's character, so why not let the world know you're down for a good time? For a limited time, Chubbies is giving our listeners 20% off your entire order with our exclusive code CHAT. Use code CHAT at chubbyshorts.com/chat. Chubbies offers a variety of high-quality men's apparel, from super stretchy shorts and swim trunks in 3 short inseam lengths to pants, polos, and button-down shirts for when you need to hit up your favorite weekend brunch spot. Embrace the spirit of endless summer with Chubbies, the ultimate destination for bold, vibrant, and outrageously comfortable clothing. Whether you're getting dressed for your workday, a workout, or a weekend getaway, Chubbies has you covered. For a limited time, Chubbies is giving our viewers 20% off your order with code CHAT at chubbyshorts.com/chat. That's code CHAT at chubbyshorts.com/chat. Support the Raiders Report and tell them that we sent you. Don't blend in with the crowd. Stand out with Chubbies. And I know you guys could probably see, yes, some of these pictures are me. Some of these pictures are Trace, Marshall. We had a lot of fun this weekend, and Chubbies is one of those brands where, like, real life story. Back in 2017, this might have been 2018, right when I moved down here to Dallas, I go to the Chubbies store, and they were doing a Mario Kart 64 competition tournament. And I was like, dude, this company, this brand is exactly for me. Was able to meet some of the owners, was able to hang out for literally like 2 or 3 days, crush some beers. Bottom line is, if you feel like that you rock with Jeremy Chuggs and I on this show, if you feel like you want to be able to support people, that brands that, you know, represent you and the people that you like to hang out with and get down with, Chubbies is for you. So that link's going to be available to all y'all down in the comments, down in the descriptions. I'm not kidding y'all. The fact that they are sponsoring the Raiders Report, man, is a big thank you to all of you. It's a big pat on the back to all the hard work we've done here on this show, and I really want you to show them some love. Go to that link, get your pair of shorts. Get 2 pairs of shorts. I just got a few pairs. They're absolutely awesome. Again, shout out to Chubbies for sponsoring the Raiders Report. All right, let's talk about Zamir White and his projection here. And the way that I decided to do this is I had to look back at Luke Getsy offenses. Now, I understand that Getsy was not the offensive coordinator in all these type of years, but there are some important things to know when you try to project stats. The first things are this. The Raiders are going to be using a running back by committee this season. It's very out there. It's open. Luke Getsy has always handled a running back by committee in some of the past works that he's been with, and he's worked with a lot of talented running backs, which you're about to see. Telesco also said that this season he wanted to use 2 to 3 running backs. So I'm going to be real. I anticipate a running back by committee. I don't think it's fair to call Zamir a workhorse. On top of that, running back coach Cadillac Carnell Williams, when he was the running back coach at Auburn, what did they do? went with a running back by committee. To me, Antonio, Pierce, and Telesco, they had a plan, especially at running back, and they are sticking to it. They are building in the trenches with some of these big guys. They're building in the trenches on the defensive side of the football. They want to be a physical team that can take a little bit of pressure off of your quarterback and rely on the running backs to kind of get it done and churn up some of that clock and then make it a little bit tougher on the offense. Zamir White, Alexander Mattison, Ameer Abdullah, and Dylan Laube, to me, are the top 4 running backs for the silver and black. If you were to ask AP Telesco, I would imagine that they'd give you the exact same answer here. If you were to ask Raider Nation, who do you think are the top 4 running backs on our roster? I'll say 90% of fans say these 4 guys right here. The reason why I'm bringing this up is because when you go back and you look at history, and history is very important in projecting stats, when you look at history, Getsy and the offenses that he's been in, 4 running backs have gotten like 99% of the work, and mainly 2 running backs have gotten the most work. So what we're going to do is we're going to hop into that time machine. We're going to go back and look at the last 5 years for running back numbers with the Chicago Bears and the Green Bay Packers. So when you look at Bears RB touches last season in 2023, the main guy, Khalil Herbert, he had 132 carries, 20 receptions. The reason why it's running back touches only is because I know they had Justin Fields. Here's the thing, and Aiden O'Connell, Gardner Minshew, they're not even close to Justin Fields. So we're only looking at running back numbers. Deonta Foreman, Roshan Johnson, I mean, that's 3 backs right there with over 80 carries. Also added a little bit from the receiving game. Bears running back touches in 2022. The leading carrier, David Montgomery, 201 carries. Khalil Herbert, right there next to him with 129. Again, Luke Getsy was the offensive coordinator in 2022 and 2023 for Chicago. But, like, the way that I see the Raiders building this offense kind of reminds me of more from the running game of what the Packers did from 2019 to 2021, where I know Getsy was not the OC, but he was at least the quarterback coach and a pass game coordinator. And if I'm trying to reinsert myself into the offense, if I'm trying to like almost recreate my name, I would try to look back at some of the better offenses that I was at most recently, which was the Green Bay Packers. Yes, they had Aaron Rodgers, but also when you look at the running back splits in 2021, A.J. Dillon, Aaron Jones, those are your top 2 backs. Again, the top back got 187 carries. What about in 2020? You got another Aaron Jones instance. I mean, this is Jones when he's playing at a very, very high level. 201 carries compared to Jamal Williams' 119. Then the year before that in 2019, the biggest year in terms of main running back carries, the number 1 back got 236 in Aaron Jones. Jamal Williams had 107. When I look at these running back rooms from top to bottom, essentially what it is, it's you got 2 older running backs. Think of it as like a Zamir White, Alexander Mattison, and then you got 2 other backs that help you out a little bit more in special teams and can help catch the football. That's what Luke Getsy has been a part of, but even before he was an OC, and then when he was the OC of the Bears, that's what he incorporated, running back by committee. So saying BellCow for Zamir White, I don't think is a fair assessment at all. So here's your opportunity to look inside that crystal ball of yours and tell me, how many rushing yards will Zamir White have in 2024? Because I'm watching our live poll right now. 77% of the people that are watching the show are saying that he is going to have more than 1,000 rushing yards. I'll tell you coming up here in just a moment how many rushing yards I think Zeus is going to have this upcoming season. So when you look at the last 5 seasons here with Luke Getsy, the new Raiders offensive coordinator, running back touches with Getsy the last 5 seasons, okay? Running back season averages, the running back room in total, as a total unit, averages 370 carries and 80 receptions over the last 5 seasons. The main running back, the Zeus in this situation, is averaging about 191 carries per season, 52% of the work. Also, that main running back had about 46% of the catches, on average 37 receptions per season. So what I'm just trying to do here is take the numbers that we've been given and make some projections out of them. So what I decided to do is I said, okay, if I'm going to take those 5-year projections, I'm going to give Zeus 191 carries. I'm going to give Zeus 37 receptions. So when you look at those numbers, this is what it spit out to me. Zamir White, he's been a career 4.3 yards per carry type of runner. So I'm going to keep him at his career average. I think, yes, the offensive line is going to be better than what it was last season. But also, how's the quarterback play? That still remains to be seen. So to me, I'm projecting Zeus at 191 carries for 821 yards and 8 touchdowns this upcoming season. Then, from a reception standpoint, I'm going to say he's going to get 37 grabs for 241 yards and then 1 touchdown on top of that. I think that some people might look at these numbers as being a little bit lower, but when you look at the history of Getsy and his offenses, on top of Telesco wanting to go running back by committee, on top of Cadillac Williams, wanting to go running back by committee, the numbers that I have here for Zeus are numbers that I'm very comfortable saying that this is what I'm projecting for Zamir White to be the main running back for the Las Vegas Raiders this upcoming season. So next thing on the docket here is which running backs make the roster, because that is a really big equation to what you're going to project for Zeus. Like, if the Raiders go out and they sign another running back, I mean, it's going to totally switch up everything. But based off the backs that they currently have, that is why I gave the projection for Zamir White the way that I did. Before I tell you which running backs make the roster, we got the Noti gang here, and I got to give a major shout-out to Zoom89, Jonathan Henry, Big Ward, Jaime, always part of the Noti gang, and then Matt Vet Raider. These are people that are subscribed, people that take pride in being one of the very first commenters on the videos that we drop here on the Raiders Report. So if you want to see your name on a future show, turn on that notification bell, click all. So here is the Raiders running back room. You got Zamir. They signed Alexander Mattison to a cheap contract this year. They re-signed Ameer Abdullah to a 1-year deal. They drafted Dylan Laube in round 6 of the 2024 NFL draft. Outside of that, like, none of these guys are essentially Telesco, Antonio Pierce guys. I know that the Raiders, for a fact, are going to keep 4 running backs. The reason why I have them keeping 5 is just because I do see Ameer Abdullah and Dylan Laube being more involved in the special teams game. So if you're also going to have running backs involved in special teams, I just see them keeping a insurance back like in Sincere McCormick, who's better than Britton Brown, higher on the depth chart than Tyrese McAllister. So, like, that's where I just see the Raiders running back depth chart breaking down from top to bottom. So because of that, well, if I already showed you what Zeus's numbers are going to be, I'm also going to try to do my best here to show you what I think some of these other running back numbers could potentially look like. So a lot of different ways that you could shake it up, a lot of different numbers to throw out there. And again, I'm taking some of the numbers that I was given. I'm also just going to try to do my best here to just piece together the way that I think that this Raiders offense is just going to ultimately work this upcoming season. So when you look at some of these numbers here, I do see Alexander Mattison getting about probably 146 carries, somewhere around 599 yards, 3 touchdowns. Yes, Zeus is going to be your main back, but Mattison is still going to get his touches. And the area that he's going to get the most work in is especially when the Raiders are at a shotgun. By far the best pass-blocking running back on our team is Alexander Mattison. He's way better than Zamir White, and he's a lot better than Abdullah. I'll be real, I don't have that much tape on Dylan Laube being a pass-blocking running back, especially at the NFL level. But Madison's going to get on the field because of that ability. And then, you know, they're going to get some few other carries from here and there. From the reception standpoint, I do see White being the leader in terms of who catches the football the most. But, like, my projection for rushing, I'm a lot more confident in than I am receiving, because this one could change in a heartbeat. Like, Mattison could be the guy that's getting more catches because of his ability to pass block. I also know that if they really like Dylan Laube, a running back that has already been getting comped to a guy like, oh my God, it was the Chargers running back, Austin Eckler, who Tom Telesco found, Laube could be somebody that gets a lot more work, and my projections could be totally off on him. Simply put, I wanted to make a show around the idea of, I heard a lot of people throwing out the term BellCow, and I just don't think that that's a fair word to use with Zamir White, because calling Zamir White a BellCow running back this year is setting him up to fail. Not because I'm not sitting up here saying, like, he can't do it. It's not, he's just not going to get the opportunity to do it. The Raiders, Antonio Pierce, Tom Telesco, Cadillac Williams, Luke Getsy, they are going to go with a running back by committee. So if your expectation is Zamir's going to put up Josh Jacobs' numbers, you're just not going to be happy. You're going to be strictly disappointed. It is a make or break year for Zamir, where if he's able to show NFL teams out there that he can handle a heavy workload, that he can be a main running back, then that final year of his contract, which will be year 4 after this season, it's a make or break year on top of that again. So I can't wait to see what Zamir does. I hope he watches this video and he goes, Mitch, I'm going to crush 1,000 rushing yards. Hey, you showed me that I was wrong last season. I hope that I'm wrong again this season on my man Zamir White. Remember, y'all, if you want to give me a follow on social media, I'm at Mitchell Renz 365. on IG, Twitter. You can also give my man Jeremy Chugs a follow as well, at Jeremy Chugs. Again, this is simply a projection video, and it's not that I don't think Zamir's a good back. It's calling him a bell cow and setting him up with the expectation that people think that he's going to be a bell cow back this season for the Raiders, whether you're a Raider fan, whether you're a fantasy football fan. Setting him up to be a bell cow is just setting Zamir up to be a fail.